Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and today I'm going to show you how to install a shock tube cover. Are you asking what a shock tube is? Well, let me show you. Here I have a product from RNG. It's called a shock tube, and what it is, it's a cover to go over your rear shock. And you ask, why do I need to cover up the rear shock? Well, if you don't want to keep constantly keeping up with maintenance on cleaning your rear shock, because the road debris and grime and anything that's from the street that goes up into your shock will cause the seals of your shock to deteriorate. Therefore, you're going to have to replace the shock. As you can see from the pictures, I also have these kind of shock tubes for my mountain bike. I have one for the front and for the rear. I bought this mountain bike back in 2009, and till this day I have not replaced any of the shock seals or had done any major repair, and they are working perfectly fine. So I recommend getting something like this to prolong your shocks. Tools needed for the job: 4mm Allen key and scissors. Okay, to get better access to your rear shock, at least from the top area, you're going to have to remove this triangle piece. So just 2 screws, one here and one over there. Okay, once you get the cover off, as you can see, these are just my wires from my power commander. You'll have a little bit more easier kind of access to get into the shock area. So at this time would be a good time to clean your shock. If you've never cleaned your shock before, all you have to do is just get a microfiber cloth and just get in there, just kind of wipe it down. So just give it a good clean. Doesn't have to be a very intense clean. All you're doing is just kind of wiping any debris that may have kicked up there when you were riding last. If you ride in very dusty conditions, you may want to really give it a real deep clean, and if you have the tools to do so, on maybe removing the shock and cleaning it thoroughly. But if you're just a daily commuter or seasonal or just ride on occasion, you may not have a lot of debris there. So just a light dusting and cleaning should do the trick. And it's like kind of like a neoprene style of material. And the zip ties are located inside this like little tube area right there. Okay, just undo the zip ties from one end, like so. Okay, and it also comes with Velcro. So the Velcro's here because you're gonna pretty much just wrap it over around on the shock. And the Velcro is just there to keep it securely in place so it doesn't come off. In case the Velcro gives out, it'll still stay in place because of the zip ties. Okay, so it's solid into the bike. Okay, depending on your R3, meaning if you have the rear tire hugger like I do, might be a little tricky to get in there. If you don't have the rear tire hugger, you might have that little plastic that goes behind it. If you do happen to have that plastic that goes on the other side of this shock, you're gonna have to remove it unless you can find a way to maneuver around it. If you cannot maneuver around it, you're gonna have to take it off. By taking it off, there's 2 bolts inside. Kind of tricky to show you from here. If you do happen to have that plastic, there's 2 bolts to unscrew it. One here and one over here. So just unscrew those 2 bolts and the plastic piece will come right off. I believe it's an 8mm nut that's there. Okay, now to maneuver it inside your shock tube, just try to work as best you can to get it inside. It's very flexible, so you should have no problem. Also, if you have problems or if you have bigger hands, you may want to remove your rear brake fluid container area. So just unscrew it and just put it off to the side. That way that'll give you a little bit more space to maneuver with your hand. Okay, once you maneuver it, it should look like this. It's not completely on right now. I just want to give you a view on how it looks like once you get it on there. Okay, once you get it there, you want to put it together and Velcro from one end to the other end. Stretch it over so you could Velcro it. At the same time, I'm getting the zip tie up here and zipping it up. So you want to do this from top to bottom. Okay, once you get it on there, it should look like that. It's kind of tricky to show you because it is a tight area there. And then for the zip ties, you don't want to overly tighten them. You just want to be able to tighten it just a little bit. Don't go crazy and tighten it all the way until it can't tighten anymore. Just enough so that way the Velcro doesn't have a chance to come undone. And if it does happen to come undone, it's not going to release the shock tube. So once you get it on there, just give it a turn. That way you could have the logo facing out towards the rear, like so. And then it's going to be also a tight space to get your scissors in there to clip the excess of the zip tie. After you finish installing your shock tube, now you want to put your plastic piece that went right here back in its spot. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave any comments below. I'll have a link below in the descriptions on where I had purchased this R&G shock tube. Thank you for watching.